Welcome to the first video episode of the Classic Gaming Quarterly Book Club. Today we're taking a look at a book I just picked up the other day. This is the Capcom 30th Anniversary Character Encyclopedia by Casey Lowe. As you could probably figure out from the title, this book is chock full of information about a ton of Capcom characters, both old and new. It was also a great deal at less than $9 on Amazon, making it a great filler item for your cart if you're trying to hit $25 and get free shipping. Also, being that it's the holiday season, this book makes a great gift for you or the classic gamer in your life. Let's take a peek inside. Alright, here it is, the Capcom 30th Anniversary Character Encyclopedia. As you can see, it's not a very big book. For scale, here is a Capcom cartridge. So it's pretty small. It's about the size of an elementary school textbook, appropriately. I don't know if that was on purpose. So, to open it up, there's the table of contents, so you can see that all the characters are in alphabetical order. I should mention that these are only playable characters, so none of the enemies from their games are in there, which was kind of disappointing because I wouldn't have minded seeing the enemies from the Mega Man series, but as you can imagine, that would make the book quite a bit bigger. So I've just marked off just a few characters of interest. I don't want to go through too much of the book because I don't want to spoil it for you because I want you guys to go buy your own copy. So first, here's Balrog from the Street Fighter series. And the reason I marked this is that it's just sort of an interesting tidbit for those that don't know, that originally Balrog was supposed to be called M. Bison, because obviously it rhymes with M. Tyson for Mike Tyson. And I don't know, I assume that they changed that because they maybe got scared at the 11th hour of legal repercussions, but obviously they didn't want to throw out the name, they didn't want to throw out the name M. Bison because they ended up just giving it to a different character. The next one I marked off just to show you that there are games in here going all the way through Capcom's history. Here's Billy Bob from Gunsmoke, which is one of my favorite Nintendo games, and definitely a game I wouldn't mind reviewing for the show at some point. I put Blanca in here just because it's a good example of getting a little bit of backstory about characters that I otherwise wouldn't know. I don't really pay attention to the story elements of games like this when I'm playing the game. So, and it never really occurred to me to ask, gee, why does Blanca have the ability to shock you? Well, if you read this, then you'll know that as a young boy, he survived a plane crash in the Brazilian rainforest and was raised by a variety of beasts, including electric eels. So that's why he can shock people. I marked off here two guys. Dr. Albert Wiley here is, of course, the bad guy from the Mega Man series. And on the next page is Dr. Thomas Light, who is the good guy from the Mega Man series, and of course the creator of Mega Man. Next, over here I marked off Firebrand. When I was a kid, Gargoyles Quest was one of my favorite Game Boy games, and so I thought it was cool that he was included here. I also didn't know that originally Firebrand was the bad first mini-boss from Ghosts and Goblins. I didn't really make that connection. I don't know what was so great about him in Ghosts and Goblins that they decided that he needed his own game, but I'm glad he got one because Gargoyles Quest is a great game. Next, these two pages stick together. There's Lancelot from Knights of the Round. Just pointing that out because it's another game that's maybe a little bit on the obscure side, and it shouldn't be because Knights of the Round is a really fun arcade game, and it also came out for the Super Nintendo. Next, I thought this was just funny, from Section Z, which is another sort of semi-obscure game, although it was on the Nintendo. Lonely Astronaut. He doesn't even have a name, although it says he's also known as Captain Commando, so I'm not familiar with the story of Section Z, so I don't know if it turns out that Lonely Astronaut was Captain Commando in a spacesuit, but I just thought it was funny to have Lonely Astronaut. I marked off this page just to show that the TurboGrafx get some love and attention here. Sidearms. That's cool. Next, everybody's favorite, Mega Man. I just marked that off because, hey, who doesn't love Mega Man, right? And they're all included in here, so I just marked off one, but just so you can see that even the airplanes from the 1942-1943 series are all in here, all the playable airplanes. So I thought that was neat. And then the last one that I marked off was Sir Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins. This book also has regular Arthur from Knights of the Round, but he never got knighted, I guess, because here is Sir Arthur, the main character in the Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts series. One of the hardest games that I've ever played, but I love it anyway. So that's it. That's the whole book. Capcom 30th Anniversary Character Encyclopedia.